Hey everyone, what's up? It's CS back here with another installment, and today we are going to review UFC 152, Jones versus Belfort. So overall, 152 ended up being a fun night of fights. Yeah, I really didn't hate a heck of a whole lot on the card. Let's just start off at the top at the main event between light heavyweights Jon Jones and Vitor Belfort for Jones's championship, of course. Yeah, Jon Jones won by submission in the fourth round. No surprise looking back on it. Really, I thought that Vitor's BJJ has been irrelevant for years. As of the first round of that fight, it definitely was not. He had Jon Jones in a nasty armbar, but, if it's not going to kill you, you're probably not tapping to it if you're a young-ass champion like Jon Jones. So he didn't. He continued to fight through. Props to Jon Jones for doing so. He immediately started throwing punches with it after, so it probably didn't pop too bad. Damn, I underestimated Vitor's BJJ game. He still has it. However, he was too tired and did not have the savvy to pull guard correctly in the fourth round. He kind of just fell down when Jon Jones was kind of taking him down too in the fourth round into, where Jon Jones had him inside control. And then Jon Jones proceeded to crucifix, get some elbows in before locking in that key lock. That was relatively nasty. Nice win for Jon Jones. Vitor was tapping immediately. Of course, before that, Jon Jones had his success from the top with ground and pound, but on the feet. This is where I for sure This is where I for sure thought Vitor would not be a factor, and that was standing up. You know what I'm saying? I thought he would have a chance here, a puncher's chance, but I really thought that Jon Jones would do a heck of a whole lot of, side kicks to the legs, side kicks in general, jabs, fighting like Dawson from Street Fighter, and we saw that from Jon Jones. So, yeah, Vitor really couldn't get anything off in terms of a straight line combination. So, props to Jon Jones for shutting down Vitor's best part of his game there, but, props to Vitor for showing off some BJJ flair. That was, I thoroughly enjoyed that in that round one. But in the end, Jon Jones, just too young and youthful and skilled and athletic as a champion. Makes sense to why he won via finish later in the fight. Vitor just didn't have it there, fitness-wise, after taking X amount of shots from Jon Jones on the feet and from the bottom. So, yeah, nice win for Jon Jones. In the end, he's still your light heavyweight champion. Who's next for him? Fuck, is it going to be Chael Sonnen? Real talk, Chael Sonnen, might be able to put himself in a position to win by just running at Jon Jones, taking him down, because Chael Sonnen ain't scared of shit. But I just cannot see Jon Jones getting out-wrestled or controlled in the fight. So, I'd still pick Jon Jones in that fight. Any other light heavyweight in the world or middleweight besides Anderson Silva, I see Jon Jones running through like a knife through butter. You know what I'm saying? So, Jon Jones is that dude at 205. As for Vitor Belfort, what's next for him? You know what? I'd like to see him versus Brian Stan at middleweight, to be honest. I think that would be a fun fight. Vitor, he's one of the most popular fighters in the world. They'll be able to sell any card with Vitor Belfort on it. So, yeah, I don't know. In the end, that's what I have to say about the main event. Let's move on to the co-main. And here we have the Flyweight Championship, the first ever Flyweight Championship bout. I actually put $1 on this for it to result in a draw. That would have been 450 to 1. So that would have been nice. When Bruce Buffer was just saying decisions, I was like, please be a draw, please be a draw. Ended up being a split decision victory for Demetrious Johnson, and he deserved a victory, rightfully so. Yeah, that was split. Damn, I really thought Demetrious got that at least 3 rounds to 2. He definitely did everything that I thought he wouldn't be able to do, although that's what he was going to try to do. Fast level changes with, combinations to takedowns, and actually outstriking Benavidez on the feet and actually doing stuff on top. Damn. Nicely done from Demetrious Johnson. Joseph Benavidez just couldn't lock up the guillotine as well as he could have, as well as he should have, and he couldn't, control Demetrius' speed on the feet. So, yeah, Demetrius just, what can I say? The moral of the story is speed kills. You have it, use it, and yeah, Joseph just could not impose his power game. And usually he's used to being the faster guy on the feet or just in general. And he wasn't, and he was thoroughly uncomfortable. Damn, Joseph Benavidez losing another championship fight via split decision. Holy shit. Alpha male cannot win a title. I swear. This is crazy. But yeah, props to Demetrius Johnson for holding it down, your new flyweight champion, and I think he's going to hold it for a while. But now let's move on to that middleweight bout between Michael Bisping and Brian Stann. Michael Bisping took that shit 29-28 across the board. It makes sense, you know. Brian Stann really couldn't get off anything as far as, you know, consistent combinations or consistent significant strikes, you know, with either his knees, some leg kicks, and, you know, some uppercuts or whatever punches he was throwing. Michael Bisping did pretty well in the strike and bike department. And yeah, he had a high volume of strike output, and he was able to take down Brian Stann and do some damage there. Brian Stann had a nice sweep in round 1, so I was really impressed with that. However, Michael Bisping is just a horse in terms of trying to beat you, and you know, just by volume of whatever he's doing. And it just got to Brian Stann in the later rounds. Michael Bisping, you know, won the unanimous decision. It made sense. He's just such a hard worker in the octagon. And, you know, I am really impressed with his product, looking back on his fights. Really, I think people underestimate his chin. You know, Dan Henderson's going to knock out everyone and their mother with that H-bomb, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Brian Stann, you know, he has solid power. I think Bisping's chin could have absorbed that, and it did. So, you know, I really couldn't pick Brian Stann by knockout. Thought Bisping doing what he did in this fight was likeliest to happen, and it did. So, solid win for Michael Bisping. What's next for him? Probably Anderson Silva. I think that's a fight that the UFC should take advantage of selling right now after Bisping, you know, just beat one of the guys who they've already hyped themselves in Brian Stann. So I think that along with him being from the UK, you know, I think a lot of people would tune in if they were to hold this in either the UK or Brazil. You know, the pay-per-view numbers the UFC could do for this would be insane. So yeah, I think that we should really make that fight happen. I think Michael Bisping gets nearly killed in that fight, but for business purposes alone, they should make it and should be visually appealing whatever happens in it. So yeah, I'd really like to see that bout. As for Brian Stann, again, I'd like to see him versus Vitor Belfort. I think that's a fight you might even put on that co-main event if they were to happen, if the Michael Bisping Silva fight would happen. All right, next up, light heavyweight match between Matt Hamill and Roger Hollett. Really, I really don't want to talk about this much. You know, Roger Hollett is just not a UFC caliber fighter. Matt Hamill came in there, did what he does, just impose his will via wrestling. Not much to say about it. He's going to have to look better than that in order to reassert himself as a UFC gatekeeper. That's all I got to say. Roger Hollett, maybe we hear from him again, or maybe we see him again in a free card in the future. However, his days as being a main card fighter, he was just brought in here as fodder to welcome back Matt Hamill. So yeah, that's really all that's really why he was on the main card. Really, this cat should not be even kicking off a card in the UFC. That's how whack I think he is. But Matt Hamill got to UD. I think that's what the UFC wanted. So yeah, even a gassed out Matt Hamill, who hasn't fought in over a year, was able to take down City Roger Hollett. That's how whack that guy is. So yeah, let's just move on. Catchweight bout between Cub Swanson and Charles Oliveira. Of course, Oliveira, you know, missed weight and shit. Whatever. You know, I still thought he was going to whoop Cub Swanson's ass. Holy shit, I was wrong. Damn, you know, Charles Oliveira, technically, very solid striker. You know, I thought that, you know, he knows how to keep his hands up and fucking strike accordingly. Doesn't exactly get too wild. And his kicks are okay. And of course, his BJJ game's on point. Cub Swanson, very offensive with his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu once he's in the dominant position. And on the feet, you know, he's a wild man. But the thing is, he knows where he's throwing that, you know, wild haymaker punch. It appears wild, but he knows what he's doing with that. And he was able to crack Charles Oliveira with, I believe it was the left. And Oliveira just has no muscle memory of what to do once he gets hit. You know, he just kind of, you know, falls and he's like, oh, how do I fight back? Ooh, I can't. So, yeah, not a good look if you're Charles Oliveira. You know, Oliveira has a shitload of talent and apparently he can't take a punch. So that sucks. Nice win for Cub Swanson. You know, what's next for him? You know, I think him versus even Korean Zombie would be a fun fight, although Zombie might be a little bit high up there in the food chain. But yeah, that's a matchup that comes to mind that I think, you know, I at least would like to see. I think that would be visually appealing, and I think it's going to at least get, you know, some kind of bonus at the end of the night. whoever gets finished, or if that's a fight tonight, I think that would be sick. As for Charles Oliveira, you know, his hype got killed. So another cat's hype who got killed on this card was Jim Hedis. So yeah, I'd like to see those two go at it. And now let's move on to the preliminary card on FX and run through it really fast, starting with light heavyweights Vinny Magalhaes and Igor Pokrayets. Guys, Vinny's back. You know, of course, you know him to be one of the best BJJ practitioners in the world, and of course, mainstream-wise, you know him from The Ultimate Fighter, where he lost in the final against Ryan Bader. Yeah, he's improved since then everywhere, but his bread and butter is still that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, as we've seen displayed against Igor Pokrayets. Now, if you're Igor Pokrayets, you do everything and their mother to stay away from Vinny Magalhaes and his BJJ game. That includes even clinching up with him. You know, why aren't you trying to separate? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that was whack. Vinny with an armbar in round 2. It made sense because Igor Pokrayets did not have, you know, the wit to just separate. So, what can I say? You know, nice win for Vinny Magalhaes. I think he's going to be able to take out some dudes in the light heavyweight division with, you know, them submissions. You know what I'm saying? Sadly, I don't think Igor Pokrayets is, you know, the crappiest when it comes to fighter IQ. I think there's a lot worse in that division. Next, let's move on to that lightweight matchup between TJ Grant and Evan Dunham. Now, I can understand TJ Grant winning 29-28. Yeah, that makes sense. 30-27, TJ Grant? Really? Someone actually gave that guy the last round. That's crazy. That's despicable. So I don't know what to say about that. Close fight. I can easily see TJ Grant getting the first 2 for sure, just by imposing his will, by moving forward, controlling that center of the octagon, and being more accurate with his strikes. I can see him doing that, but he didn't do a heck of a whole lot of that in that round 3. He was least effective in terms of, you know, just striking accuracy, and Evan Dunham was most effective with his wild striking output, his sudden bursts of moving forward and landing a combo, and I think he was most effective with his ground pound in that round as well. So, yeah, I definitely thought he should have got that last round, you know, 10-9. I thought it was the definition of, you know, a really close fight, you know, a 29-28 fight, most likely. But, yeah, one judge didn't see it that way. So, that's whack. In the end, nice win for TJ Grant. Evan Dunham, you know, I still think will be a very solid gatekeeper for the lightweight division. TJ Grant might be able to make some things happen after this win. Nice fight. Definitely fight of the night. Now let's move on to that welterweight match between Sean Pearson and Lance Benoist. Sean Pearson did what I thought he would do, you know, and that's, you know, get in Lance Benoist's face, you know, toss him around when he can with that Greco-Roman, and of course, you know, continue to outstrike Lance Benoist. Lance Benoist couldn't get flashy with some of his kickboxing. Pearson, you know, was doing his thing up until round 3, and he was able to weather the storm that Lance Benoist was able to, you know, put him under. But yeah, Lance Benoist couldn't finish him with X amount of strikes, so Sean Pearson held on for the unanimous decision 29-28 victory. Nice win for Sean Pearson. Next up, Marcus Brimage versus Jimmy Hedis. Damn, Jimmy Hedis, you know, on paper, before I watch this fight, technically better on the feet, striking-wise. Definitely the better grappler on every sort of account. Even better cardio. And he's bigger, so why should he lose this fight? Oh, he just didn't fight hard enough. Nice win from Marcus Brimage. Just, he wanted it more, so good-looking win. What's next for him? Frick, I don't know. Again, I'd like to see Oliveira versus Jimmy Hedis, though. Next up, Seth Baczynski versus Simeon Thorson. Yeah, Seth Baczynski with a nice knockout, followed, you know, nice knockout punch followed by more. Thorson was definitely done. Holy crap. Yeah, I for sure thought that I was going to get knockout of the night up until Cub Swanson came in and did what he did. So, yeah, nice win for Seth Baczynski. I don't know what's next for him. He has a few nice wins under his belt now. Maybe him versus Sean Pearson. I don't know. We'll see. Next up, Mitch Gagnon versus YL Watson. Yeah, Watson, damn. That was Jared Hamill, like the way he went down. And then, of course, he got choked out. Nice win for Mitch. Next up, Kyle Noak versus Charlie Brenneman. Charlie Brenneman is officially one of the wackest fighters in the UFC, stand-up-wise. Nice win for Kyle Noak. Nice way to make a debut in welterweight. So there it is, guys. I think that's about it for my review of UFC 152, Jones versus Belfort. Hope you guys enjoyed the card. I definitely did. If you guys want to tell me what you thought of it, do so in the comment section below. Hit me up on all my social networking platforms as well. I have Twitter, Facebook, you know, links like that in the description below too. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you for the next card, which is the Struve Miocic card. Yeah, my picks for that should be up relatively soon, hopefully. I did not do so hot on my picks. This card, a lot of people won 500. I actually went 4 and 8. So yeah, that sucked ass. However, I was pretty sure of Bisping and Jones doing their thing, and they did. I was very sure of Brimage taking L2, but you know, Jimmy Hattis just did not show up that night. So yeah, what can I say? Wild night of fights for UFC 152. Tell me again what you guys think of it in the comment section below. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Deuces for all my supporters, Bruce for all my haters, and take care. Peace.